Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Winda. Happy birthday to you. Hello everybody on YouTube, it's your boy, the Memphis XLR8, welcoming you back to check this out. The show we take a look, whatever deck we want to take a look at, being it a casual deck, meta deck, troll deck, a rogue deck, and have ourselves a good old time playing it. Today everybody, we're taking a look at another suggestion via our Discord, a much more casual variant than I've seen in a while, but it's a fun one to play. It's pure Shaddolls. We're going to be going into our Shaddoll Fusions, summoning out our little demonic dollies here, and fusion summoning into a whole host of creatures. It's not just Construct, ain't just Winda, it's the whole shebang. So we got ourselves our deck here today, thanks to Mr. The First Alchemist. And we're going to be taking in the good old yugioh Pro, showing off the combos and the wombos and the what do's and the what not do's. And we'll have ourselves a good old time. So, as always, we're going to go right into it. If you want the whole deck profile, it's going to be at the end for now. Hit up all the good buttons below. And without another word, let's get right into the action. Alrighty everybody, our first opponent, another day and another card game, and hopefully better audio today, because I've been trying to get this thing working again. Regardless, we're going to try and go first, but, you know, with certain hands, you can do second just as well. Our opening hand looks fairly decent for the most part. I've got Super Poly, of course. I got Kaios, Hound, I got all sorts of things. So with our deck, let's see, what do we want to do? My opponent did nothing, except for Fulwos, but I can play around a Fulwos, that's not a big issue. Not a big problem, indeed. So, with that being said, what do we want to do? Go ahead and set a couple cards face down just to let my opponent know. I mean back row business. And as for the monster I want to summon onto the field, I'm gonna go and set myself. Oh man, this is actually kind of a hard one, to be honest. I'm just going to summon out Shaddoll Hound and go for it. We'll see where this is going to go. He's got the most attack out of all the monsters I have, so why not? Let's just go ahead for Shaddoll Hound. It's been a while since I played Shaddoll Hound. Not the most impressive effects on him, but he's got his uses in the deck. You know, all Shaddoll monsters in the main deck are flip effect monsters. They have flip when they get, they flip them up, they do something. They're sent to the grave via card effect. They do something different. Hound here can recover my cards, which is very dang useful in the long game. And you can flip monsters face up. And you can even work on your own monsters. It does not negate his effects. So, all's good. And now we just need to see what my opponent's up to. He led with Furos. Mutant Mutator, I see. Interesting indeed. Alright, so we're up against the Myutant archetype, which could be... if this was a standard Shaddoll deck, that'd be a problem, perhaps. Perhaps it would be a bit of an issue, because the mutants have a bunch of negates to them and a whole bunch of different attributes. But because we're playing the whole 6 shades of all of the Shaddolls, we can super poly off any of the monsters that they want to summon. In this case, they're going to go for Mutant Beastie Boy. And we'll wait a minute before we do anything. I could do it just right now, but this will work just fine. Let's go ahead for Ye Olden Super Polymerization. We're going to go ahead and use our Chaos here. Set ourselves up to get out Construct next turn. Or even this turn if I feel like it. But we're going to go ahead for ALL Shaddoll Shekinaga. And I could use Hound's effect to switch my position. Doesn't really matter right now. But this is what we want to set up for. We got ourselves our Shekinaga on the board. And my opponent, if he special summons a monster, I will be able to, well, imperm's a thing, so I won't get to do that. But if he didn't imperm me, and he tried to use a special summon monsters effect, I can just ditch a Shaddoll to negate. And that's the whole point of good old Shekinaga. In this case, though, I don't know why you wasted an imperm, my brother. That's going to cost you, though. So let's go for old Shaddoll Schism. Let's have ourselves a nice first duel. No Winda's a play. I find that Winda's a bit too often played in Shaddolls. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great card, but there are other options, like good old Shaddoll Construct. Gonna go ahead and ditch a monster from my deck to my graveyard, and I can also use Sinister Shadow Games to do the same, so here's what we're going to do. We're gonna go ahead and ditch good old Shaddoll Windy when she's sent to the graveyard. Oh, I could have gone for Skomata. I could have Skomata. I can still do Skomata. I can still do Skomata. That's all fine. It's fine. I can do it either way. But yeah, usually you use Skomata for this part. I kind of messed that bit up, but it's not a problem because I can just do it again. So let's go ahead and ditch gold Skomata. If I had face down monsters, I could flip them face up. But Skomata will send another monster to the graveyard. And this is what we want to do with our Shaddolls. Just kind of keep sending them to the graveyard with card effects. Keep using their effects off. And we're going to ditch Falco here. Because Falco is one of the best flip monsters in the deck next to Hedgehog. Good old Hedgehog. Good old Falco, the best monsters. And we should be good for the moment, I'd say. I also have one of the Pendulum Scales. The Pendulums aren't the best in this archetype, but they do exist. If I ever need them, I've got them. And I can't battle phase this turn, but it's fine. Doesn't really matter if I can't Schism right at the moment to attack him directly. That's not a problem. I can use other monsters like Shekinaga to attack directly if I need to. Alright, so what do we have? Mutant M05, you say? Let me think on this one. We'll wait to see what he fuses into before we go for Schism. We shall see what my opponent also summons, because you never know. Because if I can go for, like, App Cologne or somebody. Remind me, App Cologne, you are dark, and it's 2 Shaddolls with different aptitudes. Okay. Alright, so what are we going to go? Mutant Mutator. Interesting indeed. Because the thing is, I could use... Wait, hold on, I'm going to go chug something. You know what? Let's do something snarky and see if this works. We're going to use our Shaddoll Schism. And we're going to summon out App Cologne. We're going to use our Wind and Dark Monster in the graveyard to summon out App Cologne. And because I'm summoning out App Cologne here... I forgot he's a... Oh, wait. App Cologne's dark. Which was the water one? Oh, wait. Is there a... Wait, there's a Shaddoll that's a water one. Oh, wait. That's an Oyatilus. Ooh, messed that one up a little bit. That's okay, though. Let's see. This adds a monster. I'm gonna have to stop one of them, I guess. Let's just negate Mutant M5. I think that'll be fine. Because if he uses Mutant, I can negate that one. This will be fine. Either way, it might look like I don't know what I'm doing. Don't worry. I know exactly what I'm doing. And that's having no plan whatsoever but to wing it. And that'll work just fine. So yes, Mutant doing their thing. But I've got the setup, and I don't think they'll be able to do much about this. And they won't, because I had the Shekinaga, the App Cologne, the Construct. So there you go for duel number 1. A little ad hoc, because I'm still getting back into the method of getting into Shaddolls. But that's okay. Shaddolls are a pretty robust archetype. I don't need to worry about having foolproof plans. It's actually better that we are able to just kind of wing it. So, good for us, duel number 1. Let's go for duel number 2. Shoving out some of the other Shaddoll Fusion monsters. We still have like 3 different fusions to go into. So, let's go for it. Alrighty, second opponent. Let's go and do it again. Alrighty. We'll get to go first this time. What's our hand looking like? I mean, it's not a terrible hand, but it's not like a great one either. So, let me think about this. Let's go. I mean, we have our Shaddoll Fusion. We might as well go for it. And I would summon Winda, but I really don't want to. So we're just going to go for ALL Shaddoll Wendigo. It's an interesting little number. Works great with Wendy. But for now, we're going to use this thing's effect. We're going to use Wendy in the graveyard and not the Hound, sadly. I could use the Hound, but... that'd be kind of silly. But we'll go for Wendigo. Once per turn, can protect one of my monsters from being destroyed by battle. Which may not sound like much, but it absolutely is. Trust me. Alright, so with that in mind, we're going to summon Shaddoll Dragon. I want to do different things with this turn. What can I say? Because I have Sinister Shadow games. I've got Reincarnation. I'll be thinking this is a not too terrible hand here. It's different enough without straying too much from what Shaddolls are trying to do. So... we got ourselves Wendigo, protect itself from battle and all that good stuff, or whoever I'd like. I've got my Shadow games, flip up Drago, sending Skomata to the graveyard. Pretty good. And we're up against, Toons, I see. Fascinating. Alright. Toon bookmark, I see. That could be tricksy. That could be tricky with Toons. We'll have to play this very, we'll have to play this smartly, because Toons, as silly as they look, can absolutely destroy you if you let them. So we'll see where this is gonna go, let's see, Toons page flip. Unfortunately, yeah, I can't just bounce Kingdom, otherwise I would. But I'll probably bounce Kingdom in a minute anyway, just in case. Just in case. Let's see how that's gonna go. But unfortunately, this is just not a great situation for what I would like to do. Because Dragon is really cool. You can target and bounce a card on my opponents when he gets flipped face up. And that was kind of my plan there, you know. I was kind of hoping to, bounce a card and all that good stuff. Let's see. If you control 2 world target card on the field, banish. This card can attack the turn it is activating its effect. Yep. Yep-a-rooney. Alright, ending of the main phase. I'm gonna go ahead and activate Sinister Shadow Games just to do it. I'm just gonna do it, that sort of thing. So we're gonna go ahead and send a good old Skomat to the graveyard. And we're gonna flip up Drago. Drago will activate its effect. Sadly, I cannot bounce the soldiers. That would have been nice, but I cannot. But Squamata will activate its effect. And we're going to go ahead and ditch a card to the graveyard. Let me think about this. Has to be in the graveyard. That is the problem. Let's see. I could send Hedgehog. That'll get me a monster. I don't really need a monster at the moment. So I'm just going to ditch another Wendy. So I can just get more monsters on the board. So Wendy will activate its effect. And that will special summon Beastie Boy face down so I can get some more draws next turn. Or this turn if he attacks Beast. Because now that... he's going to have to reactivate that, obviously. Because now he can attack me directly. But at least this way my opponent loses more cards. So we'll see how it's going to go. Who is in my graveyard at the moment? Let's see. I really wish I could do... Let's see. Actually, yeah. I'm going to activate Incarnation. I'm going to bring back Hound. Because this way I can get back my Shaddoll Fusions. That'll be pretty useful. Alright. So we're going to take a heckin' lot of damage here. And this is going to be a tricky one. It will be very, very tricky. Because I don't... a lot of the Shaddoll cards, like I said, they're old. They need a retrain. A retrain, did I say that already? I don't remember. My brain's fried. But yeah, Shaddolls really could use a retrain on all their fusion monsters. I would love a non-targeted something for them. But regardless, it's all going to depend on what I can do here. Let's see. Set to go back card effect. Only supposed to, if I can only do that more than once right now, that would have been perfect. Let's see. Let's go ahead and flip up Shaddoll Beastie Boy. Use his effect. Nope. We'll draw 2. Ooh, Shaddoll Prison. That would be great if I could have had it on the board right now. Because this essentially lets me fuse with anything my opponent has. Which would be, obviously really, really good in this situation. But we can at least threaten Toon Kingdom for a split second. Before going for our own field spell. Good old Curse of the Shadow Prison. Alright, so with that in mind, what we're going to do here. What attribute are these? Earth attribute, okay. So, we're going to activate Neff Shaddoll Fusion on Shaddoll Dragon. We're going to turn him into a Light Boy. Light Boy! And then, we're going to use Neff Shaddoll Fusion to Fusion Summon into Construct. Because Construct non-target destroys things it battles into. And, let's see. Well, I really gotta get rid of Toon Kingdom, don't I? So I think App Cologne might need to go for App Cologne, but we'll see how that goes. For now, ALL Shaddoll Construct, get a couple Spellstone counters, thanks to my sending a card to the graveyard. And we will not use the trap just yet. That'll be later. For now, though, we're gonna go ahead and send good old Skomata to the graveyard. You always want to send Skomata if you can. That's just how you do it. And actually, this ought to work. Wait, I do have a third Drago, right? I did do some siding. Hopefully, I didn't... Okay, there's another Shaddoll. There you go. There you go. Alright, so we're going to send... Where's Wendy? Wendy. Yep. Send Wendy to the graveyard. Wendy is going to go off. That way, I can get myself Drago face down, so I can flip that next turn. And that should help pretty good. So we're going to go for Shaddoll Hound here. Use his effect. That's going to allow me to get back my Shaddoll Fusion. Because why the heckin' not? Alright. So with that, we'll activate our Shaddoll Fusion. And then I can Fusion Summon. Let's see. I mean, I could make App Cologne. But I really want to show the fact that I can use my opponent's stuff as materials. So that's what we're going to do. And I could go for... Oh, wait, hold on. I could go for... Let's see. If I ditch Wendigo, get back Shaddoll, but I can't use it in the same turn. Use these two. I just want to show that I can do this. It's funny. Alright, so we've got our Shekinaga on the board. Unfortunately, that is all we can do at the moment. So, we'll see where it's going to go from there. We'll end our turn. And my opponent is going to lose some attack because of my Curse of Shaddoll Prison. Forgot to mention that he'll lose 100 attack for every counter on it. Well, that is another thing it does. It's a very interesting field spell. I really wish, again, there were more options for Shaddolls. So that, you know, it would be even more frightening to use this card. Alright. Attempted to end the main phase. Yeah, activating Ray Shaddoll Incarnation. Banishing, I guess, Hound. It doesn't really matter too much. And flip face down, face up. So we're going to flip up the dragon. And the dragon is going to take a chomp out of the Toon Kingdom. Alrighty. So unless he... Oh wait, it just bounces it. That's right. Oh no! He still gets to attack me directly. Well that's unfortunate. Unfortunate. I would have liked some spell trap removal. That would have been nice if Shaddolls had any of that. But they don't, weirdly enough. So, unfortunately... What is this? Inflict damage equal to the attack of my monster. What? Oh, I guess that's better than just direct attack. Alright. A bit of a mismatch that second duel. Not gonna lie. I have some nice interruption with Dragon and stuff. Unfortunately, Toons are one of those decks that has target protection built into it. With the field spell and all that. So, unfortunately, Dragon isn't as useful in that. And I didn't have any spell trap removal, really. So, that's unfortunate. But let's go ahead for our third duel. We'll pick ourselves back up, do more Shaddoll things. At the very least, we're seeing some Shaddoll plays you don't normally get to see because it's just dominated by Wenda. So let's go ahead for duel number 3, pick ourselves up, and hit our opponent with our Shadowy Dolls. Alright, everybody, our third opponent, the fight in third. Let's go in all through and hit our opponent right where it hurts. Alright, we get to go first, which is great. Opening hand is not as great, but we'll see where this is going to go. I do have Qual Shaddoll Kaios, which is an interesting number, so let's just set pass and see where this goes. You never know. Maybe they don't have much either. Hard to say, but I have Chaos. When he's flipped, I can special summon a Shaddoll from my hand face down. Really nice for just getting my monsters cycled through, effects going off. I've got Wendy I can special summon. I've got Hollow I can special summon, who's nice and big. I've got Dragon if I need to spin cards. It's an interesting situation here. Obviously, I would have preferred to have spell traps, but, you know, sometimes you don't get those. Alright, let's see here. Flip Kaios. Alright, let's flip up Kaios. That's going to summon out Wendy Face Dune. Do they get to see it? They do get to see what it is. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. But regardless, let's go ahead and battle phase with Chaos. Attack Chaos. Hit him with where it hurts. Hit him right where it hurts. Okay, it's a slow but steady grind here. We have a nice assortment of monsters on the board, but no spell traps. Which is a tricky number, because Shaddolls kind of like those. They're kind of big on their spells and their traps, if you didn't know. But I do have Wendy, and my opponent apparently is bricked really, really hard, so... Well, luckily with this, we'll finally get to see what their deck is. Oh. Don't you love it when you brick, and it's even better because your opponent was playing around you not bricking? Oh, that's funny. Alright, so let's go in for Shaddoll Beastie Boy. Very nice card. Draw 2, discard 1. Sets off of... pardon me. Sets off our effects. Alright, what do we got here? Let's see. Ditch Shaddoll Hollow, so it'll ditch me another card. That'd be pretty cool. Especially if I ditch, like, Squamata. I mean, I'm already gonna ditch No! Leave Hollow alone. He did nothing wrong to you. You monster. I mean, that's not even gonna negate my... Oh, hey, Squamata. Hey, buddy. Hey, there you are. All right, very nice. Okay, so what we're going to do here, an interesting question is what exactly, I'm going to send to the graveyard one of my cards. I've already got Wendy here, so yeah, just ditch Wendy. I'm just going to ditch Wendy so I can just get like all the Shaddolls I want. So we'll special summon Hedgehog face down. That way I can get Schism, hopefully. And let's see, that's that's 2 summons, right? I'm under the assumption they have Nibiru at this point, so that's why I'm being a little cautious about things. And in this particular instance, let me think about this. Let me think about that. I'm going to flip up Wendy. Oh yeah, because I can only use 1 of her effects per turn. That's the end, whatever. Doesn't matter too much. But I am going to summon out Squamata. And I'm just gonna attack him with everything. I'm just gonna have the dolls pile up on him. You think I need to fusion summon and Shaddolls to do damage? No, I can just attack with the Shaddolls. They're big honking puppet monsters, okay? Actually, kind of reminds me of that episode from season 0. Because that was an episode. It was a weird one, but it was a thing. Anyway, so we're gonna attack with all Shaddolls here. Do lots of damage. And you know, let's go for a good old-fashioned Shaddoll OTK. Why not? The question is, who do we fusion? Aw. Coward! Come back here and fight my dolls like a man! Alright, well, okay, an interesting third duel. I suppose not what I was hoping to do, but it was an interesting showcase of, like, different things. Like, what we showed off here, what happens when you have, like, no spell traps, just like a very loose hand. Kaios was prepared to set things up for us if need be, so good for third duel, I suppose. Let's go for one more, though. Just one more. I think we have time for just one more, maybe. I don't know. Well, let's go for one more regardless, and see if we can get out things like Arnoiatilis and Grista. That's what I would like to see. Alrighty, everybody. Our 4th and final duel of the day, the last chance at romance. And let's see what we have for an opening hand. I mean, I've got Schism, which is nice. It's always nice to have Schism, that's for certain. So we'll see where this is going to go. We're up against Dogmatikas. Dogmatikas can be tricky. They do like to hit the extra deck, which, thanks to Schism, actually, that's not terrible. Let's see. I guess a 4. We'll see. Aha! That worked. Alright, very nice. And he lost some pretty dang good cards, too. Alright, so we're up against some version of Dogmatikas. I'm not sure which version. He's actually playing Gold Gogunda cards, so that's interesting. I have not seen Spriggans in a long, long time. So, let's see. Dogmatic Punishment. Okay. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Lots of back row. Window would be perfect in the situation, because you can't be destroyed by stuff. So we'll see where this is going to go. We'll see where this is going to go. Alright, so we'll get ourselves Shaddoll Schism and our Sinister Shadow game set up. Let's see. Set Wendy and see where this goes. We shall see. It's not going to be easy, but we'll give it a shot. So we're going to flip up Sinister Shadow games. We're going to ditch ourselves a Squamata. Hopefully that will work. It all depends on what these set cards are. All we know is he has at least 1 Dogmatic Punishment. Possibly 2. So we're going to go ahead and ditch. Where is Squamata? You pretty much, you always want to send Squamata. That's just kind of like what you do. So we'll send Squamata. We're going to activate Squamata's effect. We're going to activate Winda's effect. That way we ditch another card. And I'm going to get to summon another monster. Pretty good. Or rather, I get to at least ditch 1. Okay. Yeah, Shaddoll Schism. What say ye to that? What say ye to that, salesman? Alright, so you're gonna pop... Okay, I see what you're trying to do here. Trying to ditch and tis to pop Schism. Well, I'm afraid that's not gonna work, sir. I'm afraid that ain't gonna work for you. Because I still get to summon out stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and special summon... I guess Beast. We'll summon Beast. Why the heck not? Let's go ahead and send to the graveyard one of our cards. I've already done Wendy. So let's go ahead and send Falco. Alright, this is all in the draw phase. Oh boy. I may have messed up. I think I jumped the shark a little too quick there. That's not good. That's not great. Alright. Well, regardless, we're just going to go for it from there. Alrighty. Well, I definitely played that a little too quickly, but I think we're okay, relatively speaking, still. Because I don't think my opponent has much to go off on. Honestly, this feels like it's more of a... Okay, this is a stun variant of Dogmatika's. Ugh. Sounds gross. Just saying that sounds gross. Alright. See where that's gonna go. I mean, I have cards that can interrupt this. Again, I really wish that Shaddolls had, like, spell trap removal. That would have been neat, but regardless. Let's see. Ditch Hound, because that'll flip up Falco. This Hound will activate. We're gonna flip our Falco here. Uh-huh. You got something else for me? Possibly, maybe. Possibly, maybe. I don't know. Hard to say. I got Falco. You got, like, what? You got Ecclesia. You got a big old hammer, Ecclesia. But is that enough to deal with Falco? Oh, also, I think I might have flipped Falco. I'm just going, like, way too quick with... I'm seeing the plays in my mind before my brain tells me, Memphis, you're playing the deck a little too quickly here. Irregardless, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, Falco, we might miss a Falcoing, but I don't think that's going to affect us in the long run. Let's see here. I really need Dragon, so I can bounce stuff. I could also go for App Cologne. That is an option. App Cologne would at least negate the shield. So, with that in mind... Activate ALL Shaddoll Fusion. Just go for it. Alrighty. And we'll see. And hey, if I get rid of Falco, I'll just reset his effect and all that good stuff. So that's good. That's good. Alright, so now what are you gonna do? Ecclesia the Virtuous. What say ye now? Oh, that's what ye say now. Okay, so yeah, this is exactly what I was saying. This is a stun variant of Dogmatika. Very weird. I don't think I've ever seen a stun variant of this. Usually they're all about, like, combos and stuff. Let's see here. I mean, I need to put something else on the board. So I'll put Shaddoll Genius for now. Not something I normally like to put on the board, but it is something. Oh, wait, I could have just gone for Construct, but I have a feeling that I think it's okay if I just stall a little bit myself. Just in case. But we're going to go for Shaddoll Core. Go ahead and get out my Trappy Monster. And put that on the board. And if this leaves the board, you know, that'd be even better, because I get back my ALL Shaddoll Fusion. Uh-huh. We'll say you that, sir. Oh, you actually attacked Core. Alright. Works for me. Oh, wait, it's only my card effect. I'm being dumb. I'm being dumb. I should have let him attack Falco. Okay. Alright, I'm done screwing around with this dude now. Let's see. Target Shaddoll, unaffected by monster effects, is turning except for his own. That doesn't help me. Let's activate Shaddoll Fusion. Okay. We will dig our way through all this dude's negates. He only has so many solemn judgments. Only so many times he can play that card, dang it. And we'll see where it's going to go. Alright, so let's go for App Cologne. We'll ditch Falco, and we're going to ditch Shaddoll Hollow. Summon out Big Fish Capone. We're going to use his effect to negate Moon Mirror Shield. We're going to activate the effects of Falco to revive himself. We're going to activate the effect of Hollow to mill some more cards. And we'll see where it goes from there. Alright. Cool. Get Falco back face down. Negate the Moon Mirror Shield. Lost some nice stuff, but it's what it is. And flip up Genius. When Genius gets flipped up, I can target App Cologne. So now he's unaffected by monster effects this turn. Which doesn't really affect this part, but you never know. You never know if he had Honest. Well, Honest that would affect him, but you know, if he had other stuff. Curse you and your Karma Cannon! Alright. My dude just... He really just wants to slow play this entire duel, doesn't he? Really just kind of do. Alright. Oh, wait, hold on. Ah! Zephyr Naga's too small. Dang it. He's just a little bit too small. Alright. That's unfortunate. I was really hoping. I was really hoping for that situation. I could have normal summoned somebody beaten over Ecclesia. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see where this is gonna go. I need another App Cologne. It's really the only thing I have at the moment that can deal with this. Like I said, some Spell Trap Destruction would have been great. Let's see here. Oh, the only Spell Trap Destruction I have is Dragon. That's right. Dragon can get rid of that. Alright. Also, App Cologne cannot be destroyed by battle. Should have probably told you that, son. Should have probably told you that bit. Okay. All's good in the hood. Like I said, this guy wants to just stall me out for days. Shaddolls are a little bit too robust for that, I'd say. Because this guy is very low on his negates and things. Soon, I will be able to wipe out everything he holds dear. Alright. Let's see here. Unaffected monster effects. Brings back a monster. Hedgehog is pretty dang sweet. I'll give you that much. It is a pretty darn sweet to have that. Let's see, what's in my graveyard right now that I could revive? Beast probably being a good idea. Alright, let's flip up Falco, revive Beast. That way, I can draw some more cards next turn. You know, in the long game, I will have more cards than my opponent, and I think that's going to be what ends us this duel. We just need to outlast them. Let's see here. I need another flip monster that I can flip, so... I don't just want to sit here. Let's flip up Shaddoll Genius. We will not use its effect because it's not relevant in the moment. Because this way, I'm going to summon out my Shaddoll Construct. Not ALL Shaddoll Construct, regular Shaddoll Construct. Because this allows me to fusion summon. In this particular case, let's go ahead and activate Construct's effect. And see what we can fusion summon, or if we even can. Alrighty. Let's go ahead for another App Cologne. We'll use the App Cologne on the board. And Construct. Bring out another one. That'll activate all the effects. So App Cologne will negate the Moon Mirror Shield. And then other App Cologne will add me a Shaddoll card from my deck to my hand. That way I can just straight up get Schism. Cut out the middleman and all that good stuff. Now the one tricky thing about all this is, let's see, add a Shaddoll card from deck to the hand. And discard a card. I'm just thinking here. I could just destroy more stuff of his. But the tricky bit. The tricky bit. Trixie indeed. Let me think about this. Because if I get Squamata. Because I want to deck Thin too. And that'll get... Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get Shaddoll Squamata here. Discard Squamata, okay? We'll negate that. We're going to activate Squamata's effect, ditch Drago. Drago will pop one of his back row cards, because I could just get rid of Moon Mirror Shield, but just in case, I want to see if I can bait out some other annoying cards. Evenly matched. Okay. Evenly matched. Of course it is. Alright, I hit the wrong card. I should have hit something else. Doesn't matter. Either way. Yeah, Dharma Cannon. That's his last one, though. That's his last line of defense, but I knew he had something. I just had to give it a shot. Let's see. What else can I do here? Let's see. I could bring back Construct. Summon him back, but I don't think that's the call here. Not the call at the moment. Alright. So, basically what the situation is now, he's down to his last legs. If I can get my dragon back, that would be perfect. Because then I could just use dragon to destroy his card. Oh, we didn't get it back. Oh. Oh. Finally done screwing around, I see. It only took you 9 bloody turns. Okay, Nadir's Servant, finally he's doing something else. Ditching Nintis. And he can destroy my card. Whatever, doesn't matter too much. Blowing up App Cologne does not affect me too much. So, let's go ahead and add ourselves a Squamata. Yeah, get Squamata to the hand. Discard Squamata. Activate Squamata. Ditch myself a Wendy. All the good stuff. Actually, I could also get Ariel. What cards do you have in the grave? Do you have anything in the grave I'd bother banishing? No. Not especially. So, let's go ahead. Send Wendy to the graveyard. Wendy will activate. Get me a Falco. Yes. Get Falco. This will work. All right. All right, looks pretty darn good to me. I mean, yeah, he's got double Ecclesia, but he doesn't have the Moon Mirror Shield anymore. Yeah, he'll have Punishment. I don't really care. Doesn't really matter at this point. So go ahead. Hit me where it hurts. Okay, so you'll attack Falco. That's fine. Falco will activate its effect. And we're going to bring back App Cologne. Oh, but Shumba. Very good. And then you got, you silly person, attacking my hedgehog. You silly baby. Because now I can go ahead and just get ALL Shaddoll Fusion. That way I can make Winda, and that's pretty much going to say goodnight to this guy. Because while he might have a lot of tricky cards, he's run low on them. He might have himself, what was this again? He has Dogmatic Punishment. But it won't work on me. Also, I have Dragon, I just realized. Okay, so what we're going to do, flip up Shaddoll Beast to start. That way I can just draw some more cards, discard Dragon, bait out his Dogmatic Punishment. And we should be pretty set here. Should be pretty set. In the long game, your boy Memphis has really good odds because I have the patience of the Buddha. And I will not be defeated by silly things like tons of negations and very sexy Dharma cannons and things of that nature. Okay, so what are you going to do now? What are you going to do, son? You know what I'm about to do. You only have one card you can even play. That's right. Alright, so discarding our Drago. Drago will bait out the punishment. He has to play it now or forever hold his peace. And we'll be pretty set. Oh, you're not even going to play it. Okay. Well, it looks like my opponent hath finally realized it is over, Ski. Okay. Let's go and use Construct's effect. For the heck of it. Ditch Zephyr Naga, because I don't care for him that much. And let's go for the battle phase. Alrighty, so we'll attack with everything. Everyone pile up on the Priestess. And that will be game, because while it may not look like game, it is 100% game. Now, unfortunately, this being the 4th duel and all that, I can't make Greista, I can't make Anoyatilis. Sometimes that happens, but it still sucks that it happens. So, you know, let's go out one last time with our girl construct. I'm not even going to summon Window today, because I don't want to. So we'll go ahead and just ditch. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, but there's game for you. So, good on us. Let's go ahead for the end screen, and we'll talk more about this deck here. Alrighty, everybody. So, our 60-card Pure Shaddoll deck. Scoring on this one, I kind of don't want to count the 3rd duel. I'm going to put an asterisk there just because I feel like that duel was a little weird. But regardless, surprisingly enough, our Shaddolls did fantastical today. You wouldn't think they'd be able to do as well without things like Foolish Burial and maybe Card Destruction, things like Foolish Burial Goods, things of that nature. But surprisingly enough, the deck worked fairly well considering how very simplistic it is. You know, it's straightforward Shaddolls, you know? Just start sending them to the graveyard, start fusion summoning, you get your fusions to the grave, recover your fusion spells. Neff Shaddoll Fusion is awesome. It allows you to use all the different Shaddolls that you normally never get to see. So, I really liked playing this deck, surprisingly enough. You know, it hit a lot harder than I thought it could. So, I'm really happy with how this deck turned out. I really do wish I could have summoned out, like, you know, Greista, Anoyatilis. But summoning them out is kind of tricky, and summoning them out is a little costly, but it can be done. You know, depending on what's up. As long as you have Neff Shaddoll Fusion, you can summon either of them against whatever your opponent's got. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit up all the good buttons below. Help the channel keep growing. We just hit 935, but that's all because of my dog. Therefore, we have to keep going up because of us. You and me. It's all going to be us. Okay? So, keeping up, getting up to 1,000 one of these days. We're getting there, inch by inch. So, here's the deck profile for everyone who's interested in what we were playing with today. Take it out. Have yourselves a good time with some classical Shaddoll stuff. Fix it up however you'd like. So, here's our deck. We got ourselves 2 copies of ALL Shaddoll Hollow, nice for sending cards to the graveyard. 3 copies of Beastie Boy as our main drawing sort of engine. 3 copies of Dragon for spell trap removal, as well as targeting cards and returning them to the hand. 3 Squamatas as our main combo enabler with Construct. We have 3 copies of Neff Shaddoll Genius as an Earth monster for Shekinaga, as well as some nice little protection as to, preventing my opponent from using effects as well. 3 copies of Shaddoll Hound, which surprisingly can be pretty useful for flipping our monsters face up. We got ourselves 2 copies of Shaddoll Ariel if we need to banish stuff. 1 copy of Shaddoll Zephyr Core and 1 copy of Zephyr Naga. You almost never Pendulum in this deck, because you can't Pendulum summon face down. If you could, I'd say put 3 of each in this deck, but I find 1 is plenty. 3 copies of Shaddoll Wendy for getting ourselves more monsters on the board, whether sent to the grave by card effect or flipped. 3 copies of Hedgehog, which insert spell traps and monsters depending on how it's sent to the graveyard. 3 copies of Chaos, nice card if you have a dead hand. Flips, summons out a monster from your hand face down. Everybody is a flip monster, so you're going to get something out of it. And then it also has an effect that gives our monsters attack points, but you almost never use that bit. We also have, of course, 3 copies of Shaddoll Falco, nice card to have on the field. Flip him, revive a monster, send to the graveyard, brings himself back. 2 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. You might think 3 is the optimal here, but I find 2 is just fine. I mean, I prefer to play ALL Shaddoll Fusion as a quick play fusion spell. I prefer Shaddoll Fusion because it lets me fusion with anybody. But depending on the situation you're into, depending on the opponent you're up against, 3 Shaddoll Fusions is just as well. Especially if your opponent's going first and they summon extra deck monsters, you'll want to have 3 Shaddoll Fusions. But for me today, I found that 2 was plenty. Of course, I already mentioned Shaddoll Fusion. I already mentioned Shaddoll Fusion, changes attributes, does the fusion summon. We have 3 copies of Droplet. Since we have a lot of cards we can just send to the graveyard, we use them later. Nice to interrupt my opponent. 3 Super Polys, makes use of all my opponent's stuff and their different attributes for my different fusions. And we also have 2 copies of Curse the Shadow Prison, a field spell I really wish was even more potent in this deck. I feel like when Shaddolls get more fusions, this will be even better. But with Spellstone counters on this card, I can use my opponent's cards to do the fusion summons, which is pretty dang spiffy. It also weakens my opponent's monsters, but more importantly, I can fuse with their stuff. It's a really nice way of interrupting my opponent and getting their stuff on the board, especially with Super Poly. We also have 3 copies of Shaddoll Incarnation. Nice card to revive my monsters face down, but it also flips my cards face up during my opponent's turn. Triggers things like our dragons, things like Squamata, what have you, Mace, Hedgehog, all the good stuff. We have 3 copies of the Sinister Shadow Games. Nice little card. It's basically our Foolish Barrel in this deck, ditching a Shaddoll card to the graveyard to change monsters face up, much like how Shaddoll Incarnation works, but it's also a Foolish on top. 2 copies of Shaddoll Core, nice little trap monster that can change its attributes, and sent to the graveyard, gets back a Shaddoll trap card. It's pretty good. And lastly, of course, 3 copies of Schism, pretty much the best trap card in the deck, because it lets me fusion summon by banishing cards in my graveyard. Really good for just, spam out a fusion monster every turn, especially under Winda. You combine this with Wendigo, Winda, Construct. You just kind of keep fusing every turn, overwhelm the opponent. As for the extra deck, 1 copy of Construct if we need to fusion summon emergently. Is that a word? If we need an emergency fusion, we have this thing. I don't think emergently is a word. Probably not. Anyway, so we got ourselves Construct. Lets me fusion summon. It can revive itself. We have 2 copies of Winda as the premier fusion monster. Each player gets 1 fusion summon per turn. Or 1 special summon, I should say. 1 special summon per turn under Winda. Really annoying Floodgate. Can't be destroyed by card effects. It's pretty dang powerful. 2 copies of Wendigo. Nice card to have on the board along with our other fusions, because it can prevent them from being destroyed by battle with special summon monsters for a turn. Pretty dang useful. We have our 2 copies of App Cologne. Nice for negating stuff if I need to. Can't be beaten in battle. Sent to the graveyard, can search any Shaddoll card and then discard a card, triggering off all the Shaddoll effects. 2 copies of Drysta, who sadly we didn't get to see, but if my opponent would special summon monsters while I have a Shaddoll in the hand, I can negate the summon, destroy monsters, send Shaddolls from the hand to the graveyard. Really good when going first. He's kind of like Winda without being Winda, if you think about it. So you combine Grista with Winda, absolutely insufferably good. Now, does it happen often? No, but when it does, it's awesome. We have, of course, 2 copies of Construct, the OG boss monster. Beats over anything special summoned, much like good old Avramax. And when it's summoned out, I can ditch a Shaddoll card from the deck to the graveyard. Sets off Squamata, all the good stuff. We have ourselves 2 copies of ALL Shaddoll Annoyatilis, which is usually our water monsters, all that good stuff. Neither player can special summon monsters from the hand or the grave with spell trap effects. So I'm pretty sure that means you can't polymerization, unless I'm mistaken. But either way, you got Annoyatilis who can get Monster Born at the very least. And that's pretty much all she does. But she's got really cool artwork. It's pretty neat. And lastly, but certainly not least in the extra deck, we have our ALL Shaddoll Shekanaga. which, when special summon monsters activate their effects while you have Shaddoll in the hand, negates those effects. Again, a card you combine with Wenda, with Greista, get them all on the board, start locking down your opponent, and is pretty dang potent. And much like all the other Shaddoll Fusions, it recovers your spell traps if it's sent to the graveyard, so just gets you back your fusions, what have you may. As for the side deck tech cards, there's a few other cards that were in here originally, like more Voids, more Ariels, more Zephyr Core and Zephyr Naga. Play them as you will. If you really want another copy of a Shaddoll Fusion, go right ahead, nothing wrong with that. Same with Curse of the Shadow Prison. There's things like Pura Shaddoll Aeon, which is a nice card. It can make your monsters a little bit bigger, and then flip them face down in the end phase. Kind of an emergency thing. I much prefer Sinister Shadow games, but this is an option if you want to make Shaddolls a little bit stronger. We have things like more Shaddoll Core if you find you need, and it's a tricky combo piece. Not so much a combo, but so much a tricky tech card, I should say. Imperial Iron Wall prevents players from banishing cards. Obviously, if you're playing Schism, that's a problem, but if your opponent's banishing cards, or worse, if their plan is to banish your own cards, you might want to consider this card. If you can live without Schism, basically, is what this is saying. If you can live without Schism, play Iron Wall so your cards don't get banished. So, that was today's deck, everybody. I hope you very much enjoyed. Next time, we're taking a look at a very interesting... This will be the last of our Discord decks for the moment, anyway. We're playing another 60-card beast of Cleafort Origins with no Scout, which is going to be very interesting. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Your boy Memphis signing out. I'll see you guys again very soon. Until next time, stay safe, stay happy. Let me know what you think of the audio now, and you have a good one. Take care.